Let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really profound, honestly mind-bending concept from Volume 11 of the ancient Zongjing Lu text. We're looking at the Po Tru Wang Shang Jiqing Xingfa, which translates to the Zen method of breaking delusions. It's an absolutely fascinating look into how ancient philosophy can literally cure our modern anxieties, right here, right now. We spend so much of our time trying to fix our external world. But as we're going to see, the old masters believed the root of every single problem and its solution, actually, lies somewhere completely different. So instead of a standard roadmap, we're kicking things off with a massive question that kind of flips our everyday understanding of reality completely upside down. What if everything you desire, everything you fear, everything you chase is entirely created by your own mind? I know it sounds a little radical at first, right? But the text we're diving into today argues that we are completely blind to our own fundamental nature. We're just trapped in this exhausting cycle of reacting to things that don't actually exist the way we think they do. Which brings us to part 1. The source is one mind and the deluded state. Let's go ahead and diagnose the restless disease of the human condition. Because, well, before we can break a delusion, we have to understand exactly how it operates. The text uses these brilliant rapid-fire metaphors to illustrate the chaotic, hyperactive nature of our thoughts. It shows exactly why we always feel so restless. First, our deluded mind is like flowing water, just constantly arising and passing away. Or it's like lightning, flashing for a brief split second and never staying still. And I absolutely love this third one. It's like a monkey swinging wildly through the trees of our 5 desires. It just can't sit still. Finally, the mind is like a painter, endlessly drawing the shapes and colors of the world around us. Actually, keep that painter metaphor in the back of your mind, because it's totally central to the entire Zen method we're unpacking today. Moving into part 2, corpse water and the mind's creation. To really grasp just how powerful this deluded mind of ours is, I want to share what I think is one of the most shocking and unforgettable stories from the text, involving a famous historical figure, Master Wan Yo. Picture this. Master Wan Hyo and his companion are traveling through the pitch-black wilderness on a long, grueling journey. They get caught in a storm, they're completely exhausted, and they are just desperately thirsty. Finally, they stumble into what they think is a dark, dry cave to shelter in. While feeling around in the pitch black, Wan Hyo finds a small pool of water. He scoops it up, drinks it down, and it is the most refreshing, life-saving water he has ever tasted in his entire life. He goes to sleep completely satisfied, totally at peace. But here is the absolute crux of the Zen method for breaking delusions. Look at this drastic contrast. At midnight, his perception was that the water was delicious, sweet, incredibly refreshing. But the morning reality? When the sun came up, Wan Yo looked around and realized they weren't in a cave at all. No, they were in an ancient tomb. And that delicious pool of water, it was actually disgusting, rotting corpse fluid, sitting inside an old human skull. Yeah, as you can imagine, the second he saw what it was, he instantly vomited. But in that sudden, violent sickness came this profoundly massive realization. The text highlights this incredible quote: "The 3 realms are only mind. Beauty and ugliness are within me, not the water." Just think about that for a second. The physical liquid itself never changed. The molecular structure of that water was exactly the same at midnight as it was the next morning. The only thing that changed was Wan Yo's mind. His mind literally created his entire experience of reality. First the beautiful, satisfying one, and then the terrifying, sickening one. That brings us to part 3, breaking attachments with a painter metaphor. The really crucial point here is understanding exactly how our mind tricks us on a daily basis. Sure, we might not be drinking out of a skull, but our minds are pulling this exact same trick on us every single day. The text uses a brilliant visual analogy here. Imagine a master painter. This artist is so unbelievably skilled that they can draw concave and convex shapes on a perfectly flat wall, tricking your eye into seeing 3-dimensional depth where there is absolutely none. According to the Zen teachings in the Zongjing Lu, this is exactly what our mind is doing. The universe itself is inherently neutral, kind of like that flat wall. But our mind steps in as the master painter, projecting all these concepts, good, bad, high, low, beautiful, and ugly, right onto that neutral reality. And this is exactly why we suffer so much. The grand illusion of reality is that we spend our entire lives terrified of the depths and desperately chasing the heights of a painting that our own mind created. We are literally terrified of falling off cliffs that we ourselves painted onto a completely flat wall. We get stressed, we get anxious, we exhaust ourselves over things that, much like the 3D depth on a flat canvas, possess no inherent reality of their own. They're really just the brushstrokes of our own diluted perception. Which leads us nicely into part 4, the paradox of seeking. This is a deeply frustrating paradox for anyone out there actively trying to find peace, happiness, or enlightenment. The text playfully mocks our spiritual anxieties here. On one hand, imagine a fool running frantically east and west, shouting, "I want to find empty space! Where's the empty space?" It sounds ridiculous, right? Because they're completely ignoring the fact that they're already surrounded by it. They're moving through it. Yet on the other hand, we have a seeker desperately searching for nirvana or peace or enlightenment while already walking right in the dead center of it. This quote just perfectly sums up the tragedy of our modern condition. Desiring to seek nirvana, walking within nirvana, yet failing to attain nirvana. We constantly look outside of ourselves for a peace that already exists inherently within our own one mind. We are totally blind to our own fundamental nature. We read endless self-help books, we buy new stuff, we chase new relationships, convinced that peace is out there somewhere. But remember the fool looking for empty space? You cannot find what you're already made of by looking outside of yourself. Let's wrap things up with part 5, Return to the Mirror. See the source. Let's see how all of this builds to the ultimate Zen solution for breaking our delusions, and how we actually put this into practice. Shan Master Yen Shou offers a really direct, powerful method here in 3 clear steps. Step 1. Stop searching the external world for internal peace. Just stop running around like that fool looking for empty space. Step 2. Recognize that the good and bad you see are just your mind's own paintings. Think back to Master Wan Ho. The water is just water, the skull is just a skull. It's your mind adding all the labels. And finally, step 3. Return your focus inward to the source mirror of the one mind. When you finally stop obsessing over the reflections in the mirror, the transient thoughts, the fears, the desires, you actually start to notice the clear, unblemished mirror of your own awareness that has been sitting there the entire time. The text closes out with this beautiful poem about a man who dives into a dangerous ocean to find a magical pearl, only to realize later that the ultimate treasure was already sitting right inside his own pocket the whole time. This really is the ultimate lesson of the cultural Wangsongji Zhenzong Xinfa. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to meditate on today. If the bright pearl is already right there in your own mind, why are you still endlessly exhausting yourself searching the vast, chaotic ocean of the external world?